They told me once to speak only when spoken to, keep it quiet, blend in, be normal, be nice, and I tried. I tried to zip up the part of me that didn't sound like everyone else. I tried to lock away the volume of my difference, hide the dialect of my dreams, the rhythm of my thoughts, the stutter of my truth. But let me tell you something, the world doesn't need more silence. It doesn't need more conformity. It needs your voice, loud, messy, raw, real, and entirely, unapologetically yours. They told you to be quiet, to fall in line, to stop being so loud, so weird, so different. Maybe they didn't say it out loud, but it was in their eyes, their tone, their expectations. Maybe it was a teacher who called you disruptive when all you were doing was asking questions that didn't fit the script. Maybe it was a parent who told you to tone it down at dinner because guests were over. Maybe it was a friend who flinched when you got too excited about something that mattered to you. One way or another, the message landed, be less. Shrink, fit in. But here's the truth no one told you. Your voice, in all its rawness and color and contradiction, is not the problem. It's the power. See, what they call too much is often just more than they can handle. More honesty, more vision, more soul. The world isn't broken because people are too different. It's broken because too many are afraid to be themselves. And when someone tells you to shut up, to calm down, to act normal, what they're really saying is, I don't understand you, and that scares me. But your job isn't to make others comfortable. Your job is to be real, because silence might keep the peace, but your voice starts revolutions. When you let your voice out, whether it's with words or art or movement or ideas, you give the world something it didn't have before, your perspective. And your perspective might be the exact medicine someone out there has been waiting for. You don't have to sound like anyone else to matter. In fact, the more you sound like you asterisk, the more impact you'll have, because the world already has enough people playing parts. What we're missing are people willing to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when it gets them labeled, judged, misunderstood. Let them label you. Let them misunderstand. That's not your business. Your business is to stand in your voice even when it shakes. Your business is to show up in all your difference and say, this is me and I'm not going anywhere. That's how the world changes. Not with whispers of conformity, but with the roar of someone who finally decides to be themselves. You don't belong in a box. You never did. But somewhere along the line, they handed you one anyway. A label, a role, a name that didn't feel like yours. Maybe they called you slow, or difficult, or strange. Maybe they said you needed fixing. Maybe they told you you'd never make it unless you changed. And maybe, for a while, you believed them. You tried to fold yourself small, round off the edges, walk the line they drew for you. But here's what no one told you while you were sitting in that box, staring at the walls they built around you. The labels they gave you were never big enough to hold who you are, because you are not a category. You are not a diagnosis. You are not the opinion of someone who didn't take the time to understand you. You are a whole universe wrapped in skin. You are contradictions and questions and potential they never saw coming. And the world doesn't need more people who fit the mold. It needs the ones who shatter it, the most powerful people in history, the ones who moved mountains, who changed systems, who broke through barriers, weren't the ones who followed directions. They were the ones who were told no and said, watch me. They were the ones who were called troublemakers and misfits and weirdos, and they wore it like armor because they knew something vital. Their difference wasn't a weakness. It was the spark, the starting point, the edge, and when they stopped apologizing for who they were, they became unstoppable. So if you feel like you don't fit good, that means you're not meant to repeat the past. That means your path isn't mapped out yet, and that's a gift, because your voice, your way of seeing, thinking, creating, being, is not supposed to blend in. It's supposed to stand out. You're here to push boundaries, not obey them. You're here to redraw the lines, the box they tried to put you in, break it, burn it, use the pieces to build something they've never seen before. Because when you stop trying to be normal and start owning your difference, you don't just find freedom. You give it to everyone watching you do it. That's how change begins, not with permission, with defiance, with pride, with truth. You don't need permission to be powerful. You don't need a gold star, a degree on the wall, or someone in a suit to tell you that your voice matters. You've already earned the right to speak by surviving, by getting up every day in a world that doesn't always see you, that doesn't always hear you, and showing up anyway. That's your proof. That's your permission slip. You don't have to wait for validation to tell your story. You asterisk the validation. There's this lie out there that says you have to be an expert before you're allowed to speak, that you have to have it all figured out before you contribute anything real. But that lie is designed to keep people like you quiet, people with lived experience, people who know things not because they read about them in a textbook, but because they've felt them in their bones. Your truth might not be polished, it might not be pretty, but it's real, and real is what the world is starving for. You've been through things no one else could see. You've carried burdens that never showed up on a resume. You've fought battles in your own mind, in your own heart, that would have knocked someone else flat, and you're still here. That alone makes your voice powerful. You've earned the right to be heard, not by conforming to someone else's idea of success, but by refusing to disappear. Your voice doesn't have to sound like theirs. It doesn't need the right vocabulary or perfect grammar or polished presentation. It just needs to be yours, honest, raw, unapologetic, because when you speak from that place, from the gut, from the truth, people feel it. And sometimes what you say might be the only thing keeping someone else from giving up. Your voice might be the reason they realize they're not alone. Your voice might be the bridge between surviving and living. So don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you're perfect. Speak now, share now, show up now. You don't need someone else to call you worthy. You were born worthy. You don't need someone else to give you the mic. Grab it, your story is already enough. You are already enough. Speak like it. Live like it. Change the world like it. They will try to quiet you, not always in loud, obvious ways. Sometimes it'll come wrapped in politeness, in concern, in well-meaning advice. Are you sure you want to say that? You don't want to make things harder for yourself. Why don't you just go with the flow? It might even sound like love, like someone trying to protect you. But don't be fooled. Those words are just fear in disguise. Fear of disruption, fear of truth, fear of your power, because when you use your voice, really use it, you become dangerous to the systems that rely on silence. Comfort is the cage. It's soft, it's quiet. It feels safe, but nothing revolutionary ever happened inside a comfort zone. The people who change things, the ones who really make noise, are the ones who speak when it's awkward, when it's unpopular, when it's risky. They speak when their throat is tight, when their stomach turns, when their words aren't smooth, but they say them anyway. And that courage, that willingness to be uncomfortable, that's what sets fires. Not everyone will clap when you tell the truth. Some people will look away. Some will leave. Some will tell you to lower your voice, to pick a different tone, to calm down. But the point isn't to make everyone comfortable. The point is to be real, to be honest, to be alive, because comfort might win you approval, but truth changes lives. You don't owe anyone silence. You don't owe the world your smallness. What you owe to yourself, and to everyone who's watching, is the example of someone who didn't back down, who didn't wait for the perfect words or the perfect moment, who stood in the mess and the uncertainty and said what needed to be said. Your voice isn't just yours, it's a key. It unlocks something in the people who hear it. It tells them you can speak too. You're not alone. You're not crazy. And for someone out there, your story might be the one thing that helps them find theirs. That's not a maybe, that's a fact. So keep going, keep speaking, keep rising, not because it's easy, but because your voice was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to lead, so here we are. You, standing with a voice that doesn't need fixing. A voice that was never broken. A voice that was never supposed to be quiet. You've heard the lies. They told you to shrink, to conform, to wait your turn. But now you know the truth. Your voice isn't a problem to be solved. It's a force to be reckoned with. It's not something you need to tame or edit or package up for someone else's approval. It's something you need to unleash, because the world doesn't need another echo. It needs your original sound. It needs the rhythm of your thoughts, the cadence of your courage, the harmony of your difference. It needs your questions, your laughter, your fire, your doubt, your honesty. It needs the kid who didn't fit, the person who couldn't follow the script, the one who dared to show up real, because that's how change happens, not from those who master the art of pretending, but from those who finally decide to stop. So don't wait for permission, don't wait for the right moment. You are the moment, you are the revolution, and your voice, your real voice is the spark. Let them hear it, let them feel it, let them be moved by it. Or confused by it, or challenged by it, but never again silenced by the absence of it. You've got something the world has never seen before. That's enough. That's always been enough. Now speak like it. Live like it. Change everything with it.